Award-winning futurist researcher, keynote speaker Nikolas Badminton joins us for his weekly visit here on Canada Now. And Nick, I want to talk about this off the top because we're going to talk about zoos and how there might be robot animals in the future. That might be the thing. But let's get to this story that is just coming out. The real estate company behind some of Canada's most popular shopping centers embedded cameras inside its digital information kiosks at 12 shopping malls across Canada to collect millions of images and used facial recognition technology without consumers' knowledge or consent, according to a new investigation by the federal, Alberta, and BC privacy commissioners. I'm getting that off of cbc.ca. I'll tell you, Nick, my reaction to seeing that story initially and since has been, well, here we go. There it is.
Yeah, this is absolutely terrible in terms of, deploying technology wittingly, gathering data and then storing that. And, they've actually gone on record to state that they were unaware that the database of biometric information existed because you could actually build biometric information from the faces, the moods and the surroundings, who are standing with people and whatever. I don't know what's exactly in the database, but from an image comes much data, and that data is incredibly valuable. So for an organization to deploy technologies in their shopping malls to capture this information and not know the full ramifications of doing so and the implications on privacy of the people that are going to be shopping in the malls and the employees is absolutely terrible for 2020, to be honest, Jeff.
Yeah, Cadillac Fairview said it used facial recognition software to track shoppers' ages and genders and argued shoppers were made aware of the activity through decals it had placed on shopping mall entry doors that referred to the company's privacy policy. But the commissioner said, yeah, that's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, who's paying attention to a lot of these things? I mean, oftentimes we walk into malls and you swing the door open. These days, you're wearing a mask. you're more worried about keeping your point of view as to being who's in front of you, who's around you. You're not reading decals on doors. There needs to be a very, very clear statement that this data is being gathered. And what's going to happen? You're going to get there and you're going to say, oh, I don't like this. I'm not going to go shopping. So there needs to be an element of opt-in to this kind of surveillance as well. So, whenever you're using information boards, well, I think that was one of the technologies, you have to make a distinct decision as to whether they can capture any kind of data from you, from your behaviors in using that, So, yeah, this is an absolute cluster of terrible decisions to gather information in malls. And that's been, gathering information about swarms of people going from store to store and what they're thinking and feeling. There's been big business for a long time, Jeff, and it's always gotten people in hot water.
Yeah. Well, the investigation found the technology was used at 12 malls in Alberta, BC, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. So we'll see what comes out of this story. But, Nick, I wonder how much people are going to fight back on this. And I might be part of the problem, to be quite frank, Nick, because I just think that that's the day and age that we live in. And I just walk in, and anytime I leave my home, I just feel like I could be watched. Like I've entered into the phase of our world where, yeah, there are cameras everywhere, and I feel like I could be watched at any given time. People are armed with phones that have cameras on them, and everybody's got one. So I wouldn't say that there is a level of forgiveness, but it's just expected. I just feel like I'm being watched all the time. But if we are going to avoid this from happening, then we've got to fight back on it.
Yeah, we have to be aware and we have to be activistic about this. And we have to say that this is bad practice. The industry has to say it's bad practice. And the government surely does say it's bad practice. I work with information commissioners across Canada and all around the world as well. And this kind of behavior by Cadillac Fairview and the technologies that they deployed is pretty deplorable in the scheme of things. We can't just say, this is the world we live in, so be it. even with education programs and opt-ins and whatever. There's a fundamental problem in architecting your business around the harvesting of data to try and make yourself, operationally more efficient. Now, I just spoke and did a keynote about, data is power and getting insight leads to transcendence. But we have to have ethics and morality at the base of this. And we have to have the opportunity for every individual that says, I don't want to be part of the system, to say that, but still use these facilities as well.
Is this an example, though, and it's not to say there's any level of forgiveness on my end here, but is this an example, though, of government being behind on technology, where there is this gray area where companies, and I'm not saying that they're going to, but a company like Cadillac Fairview can get away with this sort of thing because the rules on all of this are still gray and behind, quite frankly. Like, is government and laws just way too far behind when it comes to technology?
In Canada, with information commissions and government information experts, and I work with these people a lot. I speak at a lot of their conferences. They are not behind. It's very, very clear. And so what's happening is these companies with technology, they're sort of like, wading through the gray area. And then it's down for a discussion of like whether the law was broken or not. In things like having decals on doors around the mall, and was that enough? It's one area of grey matter. We have to be deliberate in our design. It needs to be based around shoppers and what they do, and giving them the opportunity to say, oh, you know what, I don't want you to collect my data. Click that button at that information kiosk, and all is good, because that's responsible. Or someone might say, yes, I do want you to collect my data. That's great. In the future, some people are saying that we'll be personal data exchanges, and we'll choose to have people harvest our data, and we'll be paid for that. And these kinds of new economies around data are going to pop up. That's the future that I think is more equitable, but it has to be equitable in terms of giving you back the power to say no, and giving you back the power to make the money from the data that they're harvesting from you.